Today, we are releasing China's space program, a 2021 perspective. And also holding a press conference to brief you and interpreting for you the white paper. In line with Xi Jinping's thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for the new era, the White Book has illustrated the innovative driven development in the space industry and also other efforts to conduct international exchanges and cooperation. It explains how we have deepened our cooperation with the rest of the world and build a community with a shared future in outer space. It lays out the priorities for the next 5 years towards building China into a space power and also fostering a new paradigm of international space cooperation. It has 3 parts and about 13,000 words. The structure is divided into 6 parts. A new journey towards a strong space presence, development of space technology and systems, developing and expanding space application industry, research on space science, modernizing space governance, and international cooperation. It's issued in Chinese, English, French, Russian, German, Spanish, Arabic, and Japanese, and will be published by People's Publishing House and Foreign Languages Press, respectively. To help you better understand the White Book, we are pleased to be joined by Vice Administrator of CNSA, Mr. Wu Yanhua, spokesperson Xu Hongliang, Director Liu Jizhong of Lunar Exploration and Space Program Center, and Director Zhao Jian of Earth Observation System and Data Center. They will brief you on the contents of the white paper and take your questions. Now I give floor to Vice Administrator Wu Yanhua. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a great pleasure to meet you all. And thank you for caring for and supporting China's space industry. Today, we're issuing the 5th white paper, titled China's Space Program, a 2021 Perspective, to help you better understand the development of China's space industry and explore prospects of cooperation. In the past 5 years, we have witnessed the Chang'e probes exploring the Moon, the Zhurong rover probing Mars, the Xihe satellite chasing the Sun, the Tianhe space station core module traveling among the stars, and the Wukong and Huiyan astronomical satellites discovering the cosmos. China's space industry has forged ahead and made new achievements and breakthroughs. The past 5 years witnessed innovation-driven development of China's space industry. Launch vehicles have updated at a faster pace. The new generation of launch vehicles, which are non-toxic and pollution-free, represented by Long March 5, have come into service. Commercial launch vehicles have flourished. The ability to carry out various launch missions on land and sea has been developed. In the past 5 years, we have altogether 207 launches, among which the success rate of the Long March carrier rocket series reached 96.7%. There are a lot of highlights in major space projects. The construction of China's space station is well underway, which has hosted 6 astronauts and entered the era of long-term manned residence. The last step of the 3-step lunar exploration program, Orbit, Land and Return, was concluded. Chang'e 4 probe had the first soft landing of humankind on the far side of the Moon and conducted roving exploration. Chang'e 5 brought back 1,731 grams of samples from the Moon, and Tianwen-1 made a smooth interplanetary voyage and landing beyond the Earth-Moon system, leaving Chinese footprints on the Mars. Space infrastructure keeps improving. The Beidou navigation satellite system, the BDS, has come into operation, and the high-resolution Earth observation system has developed systemic capacity. The past 5 years also witnessed China's space industry empowering social development. We now have over 500 satellites in orbit, serving economic and social development and playing an important role in supporting peaceful, beautiful, and digital China. Communication satellites have provided over 140 million households in rural and remote areas with access to remote learning, tele-healthcare, and rural e-commerce, so as to facilitate poverty alleviation and rural revitalization. Remote sensing satellites have distributed more than 100 million SIMs of data, serving the demands of weather forecasting, national territory planning, eco-protection, marine economy, and disaster response. The BDS has been widely applied in public transportation, smart logistics, precision agriculture, especially in the prevention and control of COVID-19. It has provided precise positioning and navigation services. Space technology has boosted emerging industries like new energy and new materials, and also new modes like smart city and autonomous driving. Commercial space businesses have also boomed.
The last 5 years were 5 years of breakthrough for China's space explorations, centering on subjects like the origin and evolution of the universe and relations between the solar system and mankind. And with the support of our space science satellites, Moon mission, Mars mission, Manned Space Mission, and other programs, we carried out a series of explorations, research, and experiments, and contributed many original achievements to human progress. The Huiyan telescope successfully captured a black hole eruption. The Wukong Explorer got high accuracy measurement of the energy spectrum of cosmic rays. The Zhanghen 1 satellite finished building models of the Earth's geomagnetic field. The Tansat satellite acquired high-accuracy map of global carbon dioxide distribution. The Moon mission unveiled the subsurface structure of the far side of the Moon and confirmed that lava flowed on the Moon 2 billion years ago. The Tianqing 1, Taiji 1, and Xihe satellites have provided new means for research on gravitational waves and solar physics. The last 5 years were 5 years of cooperation and sharing. Together with international counterparts, we worked to implement the UN SDGs, promote sustainable development with space technologies, and signed around 50 new agreements or MOUs on relevant cooperation. We launched the International Lunar Research Station program together with Russia and carried out broad international cooperation in manned space missions, lunar exploration, and the Mars mission. We signed the agreement on the cooperation on BRICS remote sensing satellite constellation, successfully launched a jointly developed oceanographic satellite with France and an electromagnetic satellite with Italy, and worked for the incorporation of the Beidou standards into the standard systems of international organizations such as the ICAO and IMO. The Gaofen 1 and Gaofen 6 satellites have provided free data access to the world through the cloud platform. 158 countries and regions and 550,000 visitors accessed such data. 5 satellites and 3 constellations of China are newly added to the international charter mechanism, and our meteorological satellite data is used in 121 countries and regions. Through facility construction, personnel training, and data application, we also supported fellow developing countries in strengthening space capabilities to share the fruits of China's space endeavors. In the next 5 years, we will continue to follow the guidance of Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era and the principles of innovation first, coordination and efficiency, peaceful development, and cooperation for sharing. We will focus on building on China's strengths in aerospace and strive for high-quality development of space activities and comprehensive progress in space science, technologies, and applications so as to make contributions to the building of a strong modern socialist country as well as peace and development of mankind. First, we will press ahead with major projects through innovation. we will finish building China's space station and a high-resolution Earth observation system, implement new major projects such as Phase 4 of the Moon mission and Planet Probe, advance the development of heavy-lift rockets, build a near-Earth asteroid impact risk response system, and cultivate key programs like marginal exploration of the solar system. We will promote spectrum-based development of launch vehicles, continue to improve the national space infrastructure, and improve the systemic capacity for spatial environment management. Second, we will cultivate the space applications sector. We will promote deeper integration of space applications and the digital economy, explore more application scenarios and new business models, and deepen the comprehensive application of communication, navigation, and remote sensing information. We will speed up the conversion of space technology outcomes for commercial uses and foster the space economy, including space tourism and space biopharmaceuticals. Third, we will advance research in space sciences in a coordinated manner. We will make systematic efforts for progress in key fields such as space astronomy, space physics, and lunar and planetary science, develop space science satellites for gravitational wave detection, Einstein probe, and advanced space-based solar observatory, and use the space station, the lunar and deep space probes to carry out continuous exploration and basic research in frontier areas so as to achieve more original outcomes. Fourth, we will foster a sound environment for space endeavors. We will improve the innovation system to ensure deep integration of production, education, and research, and strengthen the basic capabilities of the aerospace industries. We will formulate regulations on satellite frequency, orbit resource management, Beidou satellite navigation, etc., and issue guidance on commercial space activities, so as to build a sound legal framework for the aerospace. We will work for a high-quality talent pool for space endeavors and speed up efforts for developing China into an important talent center and an innovation highland of the world in the aerospace field. We will carry out publicity and awareness programs to promote the space endeavor spirit and encourage love for sciences, exploration, and innovation. Fifth, we will broaden and deepen international cooperation. We will take an active part in global governance of outer space and contribute China's solutions and wisdom in areas like monitoring and response to small near-Earth celestial bodies, planetary projection, and space traffic management. We will start the construction of the International Lunar Research Station, implement the BRICS Cooperation Agreement, promote the global application of spatial information services, and carry out more extensive international exchanges and cooperation in the fields of lunar exploration, space station, planetary exploration, and Beidou navigation for mutual benefit. The peaceful exploration and use of outer space is a shared dream of whole humanity. Looking into the skies and relentlessly pursuing shared progress and steady progress is our shared aspiration. China is ready to work with the international community to strive for high-quality, sustainable space programs that are beneficial for our people and build a community with a shared future in outer space, and contribute our strengths to the civilizational progress of humanity and peaceful development on the earth. Now my colleagues and I are ready to take your questions. Thank you, Mr. Wu. I see many eager hands. The floor is open for questions. Thank you, CRI. My question goes to Mr. Wu. Through your introduction, we've known China's success in the past 5 years. And in the 14th five-year plan period, what are the major tasks of China's space program?
Thank you for your question. As I explained before, there were a lot of new highlights in the development of China's space industry in the 13th five-year plan period. And In the 14th five-year plan period, we have a heavy schedule ahead of us. To sum up, there are several categories of main tasks. First, we need to wrap up existing national major projects which may have started 10 years ago, including manned spacecraft project, Beidou project, the high-resolution Earth observation system and high-resolution satellite project. Also, we need to better utilize the data and outcomes we have gathered from our Moon exploration project for scientific research. Second, in line with the planning of the CPC Central Committee, we will implement a series of new major projects, including the fourth phase of lunar exploration program, the planetary exploration project, the heavy lift launch vehicle project, and others. After being approved by the Central Committee, we will implement these projects. Third, in China's space industry, we will advance the application, the integrated development of space science and also application. Especially, we need to better use communications, navigation, and remote sensing satellites, integrate the technologies, and foster more mature space infrastructure and promote the applications in national economy and social development. We will also aim at serving the international community as a whole. Fourth, we will make coordinated planning of our lunar exploration project. Based on our scientists' research, we will launch a new series of scientific satellites. At the same time, we will make good use of our space station, moon exploration platform, and also planetary exploration platform to deepen cooperation on scientific research and aim at original discovery to serve mankind as a whole. Fifth, more focus will be attached to enhancing openness and cooperation with the international community in all areas, both major projects and other aspects, like construction, application of satellites and space science, and also the education and cultivation of students from all levels. We welcome international partners to conduct multi-level and multi-dimensional cooperation with us at all levels. Thank you. Next question. In the recent 5 years, according to your briefing, we understand that China's space industry has made a lot of important achievements. Could you sum them up? And what are the new research areas in the future? I will take your question. Indeed,
in the past 5 years, through programs like the Lunar Exploration Program, the Tianwen-1 mission, the Wukong Explorer and Mozi Explorer, we have made many efforts to contribute to space sciences. I would say we have contributed a lot. The following are the main aspects of our contribution. First is about the historical evolution of planets and the universe. Our research on the shadow subsurface of the moon made some progress, particularly in the geological perspective. And we also got new knowledge about the geology of Mars. Before the conference, we released relevant information, including our analysis of the newly got samples from the moon. Our knowledge about the geology of the moon have increased. In the past, our knowledge of moon geology was 3 billion years old, and now we have known things about the moon 2 billion years ago. That's like 1 billion years younger for the moon. This contributed a lot to the humans' knowledge about the moon. Through our research, we have discovered a new substance on the moon, and also a new substance in the deep part of the moon. We have also acquired so far most accurate energy spectrum of cosmos rays. Through efforts and research in the past years, we have got new knowledge about the measurements of lunar particle radiation dose. We also developed new knowledge about the lunar micromagnetosphere of the moon. This has provided new models and constraints for interactions between solar wind and lunar surface. And through our space-based observation of the Earth, we have been able to learn more about the dynamic evolution of the Earth's plasma layer. Of course, there are many other scientific outcomes. We are acquiring these outcomes, and based on scientific research, we have built a series of research equipments and facilities. And these equipments and facilities will be very helpful for our work in the future and our cooperation with international counterparts. They have laid a very solid foundation. These programs and the deepening of our research programs and studies have attracted a lot of talents from universities in China. We have learned that many universities in China have newly created relevant disciplines for space programs, and a lot of students are attending these programs, including international students. This is building a very important talent pool for our future endeavors. This is important for our progress in science research and also human progress. China's research and exploration in deep space will not stop. Our research on the evolution of the universe, the solar system, the sun, and planets in the system, the sun's impact on the Earth, and issues like that will continue. And we will use our Phase 4 moon mission, the running of our space station, and follow-up special satellite missions to discover more knowledge. cosmic magnetic field and other relevant areas are areas of interest for our research in the future. And we hope that through our programs, the new knowledge we acquire through research, we will contribute more to human knowledge about outer space. Thank you. Next question. Thank you. Southern Metropolis. We know for space program, innovative talents are indispensable. So what are you doing to attract more talents in this field? So I would give the floor to Mr. Hong Liang. After more than 6 decades of development, we have achieved many remarkable progress in China's space endeavors, and we have developed a unique space culture in China that involves many very extraordinary and outstanding talents. Political culture, their capacity, their integrity are also important parts for our choice of talents. We also want patriotic, responsible, and energetic talents for our team. We mentioned the Tianwen team, the Chang'e team, the Beidou team. For those teams, they are mostly have with an average age of 30 to 40 years old. So looking forward, we need more fresh blood into our teams. And at the Central Conference on Personnel and Talents last year, General Secretary Xi Jinping called on us to draw more talents to China's space program. And we have formulated relevant plans in this regard. And about personal training and talent fostering, we will also use the strong role of major projects to foster more young champions in relevant areas of sciences and technology. We will also strengthen exchange mechanisms for talents. We will also strengthen incentivizing mechanisms. With the development of our economy and society, we are giving stronger incentives for talents who are eager to work in this field. Many prizes and scholarships have been established to incentivize talents. Fourth, we are also fostering the development of relevant disciplines in universities. We are working together with relevant universities to establish cooperative programs in their campuses. Fifth, we are also strengthening our exchanges with international counterparts, including developing countries, to help them foster space talents. We're working with the United Nations to establish regional centers for developing countries so that they could develop their own space talents. This has contributed to those countries' development. This is what we are doing to implement our idea for contributing to human progress. Next question. Phoenix TV. Last October, China successfully launched the Xihe satellite for solar physics. Could you share with us more about the information sent back by this satellite, and are there any more plans for exploration of the sun? Thank you very much for your question. Let me briefly introduce to you the Xihe solar satellite. It is the first scientific research satellite launched by China for studying the sun. It was successfully launched in Taiyuan last year, and it marked the beginning of a solar observation era for China. In this year's New Year address by President Xi Jinping, Xihe satellite was mentioned, and it attracted attention of the whole nation. After more than 3 months of in-orbit testing, the satellite has completed more than 40 times of examinations and conducted more than 290 observations of the sun. And now it is stably working and stably functioning. All the indicators meet our intended standards. Now the satellite is still working to finish its mission. So far, it has achieved a lot of experimental, scientific, and research outcomes. Let me give you some brief information about the progress. It confirmed the viability of the new technology on high accuracy observation technology. And second, it also scored new progress in solar physics. It obtained multiple solar spectroscopic images at different wavelengths in the H-alpha waveband. The H-alpha waveband is the strongest waveband during a solar burst. So the information acquired by the satellite is very important for increasing our understanding of the sun. In the past, we could only observe such wavebands on the Earth, but the Earth's atmosphere would disrupt our observation. So with the help of this satellite, we will be able to acquire more accurate data without disturbance of the atmosphere. And through this technology of the sun to its surface and how it's evolved. And also, Chang'e 5 has successfully carried sample of the moon back to the Earth, and the Tianwen-1 has successfully landed on programs. We have covered the sun, the moon, and Mars within 1 year. Our explorations programs, our scientists are also analyzing the viability and feasibility of many possible programs, the poles of the sun and the deep parts of the sun. In the future, we will try to acquire a 3D image of the sun, and that will enable us to better forecast weathers that contribute to the life of our people. Thank you. Thank you, Beijing News Daily. This white paper is the 5th white paper released by the Chinese government. So my question is, what are the highlights and changes of this white paper compared to the previous 4?
Thank you for your question. As you said, this is our 5th white paper on the space industry. In terms of the structure, this white paper focuses on our efforts to build China into a space power. It lays out our purposes, principles, policies, measures, and also efforts to conduct international cooperation towards building space power in all respects. From 11 aspects, it has summed up China's achievements in space science, technology, and applications since 2016, and also lays out other priorities for the next 5 years. In terms of the main contents, there are 3 features. First, it reflects the vision of high-quality development. We've been committed to modernizing governance of the space industry, actively formulating relevant policies and measures, bringing out the role of efficient government and effective market, fostering a sound environment, and promoting high-quality development in the space industry. In terms of innovation, we've implemented major space science and technology projects, brought forth leapfrog developments in innovation, and optimized the ecosystem for innovation. In terms of development mode, we've encouraged development of commercialization of the space industry and boost cost-effective development of the industry. In terms of, we've put commercial space industry at a better position in the industrial chain to raise the overall performance of our industry. In terms of governance capacity, we will step up the formulation of a national space law, improve relevant policies and regulations, and promote law-based governance of the space industry. In terms of team building, in line with the spirit of the Central Working Conference on Talent, we've improved mechanisms related to training, flow of and incentives for professional personnel, and create more favorable conditions for the development of professionals. In terms of culture, we've promoted education on space knowledge and culture and increased the knowledge of space industry among the public. Second, we aim at supporting major strategic demands of our country. Building a peaceful, healthy, beautiful, and digital China is now an integral part of building a great modern socialist country. China's space industry has actively supported and served national strategies to raise the efficiency of development. Firstly, we've deeply integrated satellite application with industrial and regional development, and also integration between space information and new generation of ICTs like big data and Internet of Things. We've expanded the depth and breadth of public services of satellites. Secondly, we've enhanced transformation of space outcomes and technology transfer to provide more high quality and convenient services for national economy and public consumption. We've expanded the scale of our industry to support the building of major power in transportation, logistics, and all other parts. The third feature of this white paper is we've pursued openness and cooperation. For the first time, the white paper puts forward the idea of building a community with a shared future for mankind in outer space. It demonstrates our greater openness towards international cooperation. There are 3 major changes here. Firstly, our cooperation will move from payload carrying to joint task planning. Secondly, we will move from cooperation on single products to cooperation on joint research and development of complex systems. Thirdly, we will expand the application to classic scenarios to multi-area integrated application so that space activities will better benefit humankind and make greater contribution to human civilization. Thank you. And let me add a few words. There are several more features. My colleague has already comprehensively introduced them. So first, our major space projects are at an important juncture. We put great importance to carrying forth previous plans and looking at the long term. As I said before, the project started 10 years ago is now at the era of wrapping up and operation and also application. The Chinese government is planning for major space projects in the next 15 years. So we can see the consistency of China's space industry. Second, as mentioned in the white paper, space science, technology, and applications should be developed comprehensively. So it's like one body, two wings. We used to attach great importance to technology development, but in the new era, we will attach great importance to making use of applications and also new discoveries in research, so as to push forward comprehensive development. The third feature, in my perspective, is that in terms of international cooperation, we should pursue greater openness at a higher level and in larger scale projects. We will work more closely with international partners. For instance, with Russia, we will jointly launch an International Lunar Research Station project, the ILRS, which will be of large scale in a long term. It's a major cooperation project for the international community. All interested international partners, be countries or international organizations, scientists and engineers are welcome to join the project. Thank you. Next question. Thank you. Xinhua News Agency. We know that space industry needs a high investment. How do you see that? And how has China's space industry served economic and social development and promoted people's well-being?
Thank you for your question. The space endeavors is a shared endeavor for humanity. At first China Space Endeavor Day, General Secretary Xi Jinping pointed out that to explore the vast cosmos, pursue space endeavors, and build China into space power is a dream we relentlessly pursue. Space technologies is an important demonstration of the composite development level of nations, science, and technology. So we need to promote leapfrog development of space sciences and technologies, and at the same time we need to commercialize innovation outcomes for the development of economy and society. The first, we have attached great importance to space program, and the general public has provided strong support. This program requires huge input, but also it has a huge spillover benefit. According to preliminary analysis, it has a 1 to 10 input-output ratio. An application of new space technologies has led to tremendous transformation in many industries, and strongly propelling national economy, and it has also played an important part in completing the building of a moderately prosperous society in all respects. So that means high input leads to high output. The second, applications of space technologies have been broadly used to areas like natural resources, environmental protection, disaster relief and mitigation, meteorological services, marine development, transportation, logistics, education, medical services, and urban and rural development. Technological derivatives have also access to many households. Ordinary people are able to feel the improvements in their life brought by space technologies. For example, communication broadcasting satellites have provided mobile communication, live streaming, and high-speed access to internet for the people. This has provided huge convenience for people in the age of ICT and digital economy. Satellite navigation and positioning has become an indispensable helper in people's life. Our meteorological satellites have provided high accuracy weather forecasts for specific regions and specific sports, and this is also very important services for the people. And also another important aspect is the role of satellites in disaster mitigation and response. High-definition cloud images shown by Golfin satellites could specifically monitor the evolution and structure of eyes of typhoons, and no typhoon was missed in our forecast and reports. This has tremendously reduced a cost of disaster prevention and mitigation. At the same time, the Golfin satellites have also played an important role in preventing wildfires and responding to floods. For example, not long ago, Tonga experienced a huge volcanic eruption. Our space administration triggered our emergency response mechanism and mobilized more than 10 satellites to monitor relevant situation and provided important and useful information for international organizations. This has contributed to the relief and the mitigation efforts. Third, the space industry has also contributed to the upgrade of the industry chains. The space industry is very complicated and it has a huge scale. It requires the participation of all other industry chains. And we believe now this sector has become ripe for commercial activities. It has also become a highland for talents from many areas, a bridgehead in innovation in new technologies. Now we see concentrated growth of new technologies. State SOEs under central government are moving their operations to benefit localities, and local governments are encouraging the concentrated development of specialized enterprises. And we believe these new trends will contribute to the well-being of our people, and the development of our space program will help implement the UN SDGs and help us jointly safeguard this shared planet to help us avoid disasters and deliver more benefits to our peoples. Next question. Thank you. The cover. We have learned that our government has approved the phase 4 of the moon mission and will be implemented in the next 10 years. Could you share with us the detailed arrangements for these programs?
Thank you. The lunar exploration program since 2004. Now we have Chang'e 5 probe returning samples from the moon to the Earth, completing the first, second, and third phase of the program. According to the laws of science, in the 13th five-year plan period, especially at the start of that period, we started follow-up tasks and relevant research. And according to our planning, we have 4 tasks in the 4th phase. First, about the already launched Chang'e 4 probe, which landed on the far side of the moon. There are 3 more tasks. First, Chang'e 6, which will be a backup of Chang'e 5. It will collect and return samples from high-value regions of the moon, so we can expect new samples and soil from the moon. Also, Chang'e 6 and 7 probes will explore the polar regions of the moon, especially the distribution of water on the moon. Chang'e 7 will be at a reconnaissance stage for our China's space station. Chang'e 7 will make test flights and also demonstration for the scientific research at the station. Our overall aim is to basically complete the building of the Science and Technology Station, which will also lay a solid foundation for building an international science and technology station concerning lunar exploration. In all these tasks, we are working closely and having close consultations and coordination with international partners. We will jointly conduct relevant exploration. For instance, we have signed agreement with Russian counterparts on jointly exploring the moon. About the concrete plan, according to the current progress, around 2025, we aim at complete tasks concerning Chang'e 6 and 7, and also start developing Chang'e 8. Before 2030, we should have completed the development and launch of Chang'e 8, so that by then, the 4th phase of a lunar program will yield fruitful outcomes. Thank you. Last question. Thank you. Global Times. Some of you mentioned the International Lunar Research Station project launched by China and Russia. Could you please brief us on the project and also how will international cooperation be conducted? Thank you for your question. We used to brief friends from the media on the project. In March 2021, the CNSA and Roscosmos signed an MOU on the project. In April last year, we issued a joint statement, and in June, we released to the international community a roadmap and guidelines for partnership concerning the ILRS. As Director Liu said before, the ILRS was a concept put forward as early as in 2017, and many countries are interested in this vision. To sum up, we aim at exploring the surface of the south pole of the moon. So our goal is to establish experimental research facilities there. We're also considering establishing research facilities in the orbit of the moon, so that the facilities on the surface and in the orbit of the moon can be interconnected and used for multidiscipline and multi-purpose scientific research activities. China and Russia have jointly launched the project based on our respective goals and plans. For instance, for China, our goal for the next phase of lunar exploration program is to lay a solid foundation for the reconnaissance. That will be completed in around 5 years with Chang'e 6 and Chang'e 7. Russia has also similar plans. In about a decade, China and Russia welcome all interested international partners in this project to build the research facilities. For instance, we can have like a small town on the moon surface and orbit with its communications, navigations, transportation, and ground support systems. To ensure human presence in the long term, we need also a system of life safeguard. So these are our priorities before 2035. After that, we will put it into use. According to the demands, the needs of countries and international organizations, they can conduct scientific research on the moon under this project. So this is the sum up of the project. At present, the governments of China and Russia are working closely on consultations on an intergovernmental agreement on cooperation in establishing ILRS. Basically, we have reached consensus and we expect to complete the signing by the end of this year. I believe that after signing this agreement, the CNSA and the Roscommerce will release a declaration of the ILRS to the international community, so as to lay out our general principles, ways of participation, and guidelines for activities. So, at different stages and levels of tasks, be them space system, subsystem, equipment, data application, or space mission, we have no bounds. And all interested international partners are welcome to participate based on their own conditions. Thank you. For the limit of time, this is the end of the press conference. Thanks go to the 4 spokespersons and also friends from the media.